Coming up, first baseman Mark Teixeira. Brian McCann is back in the lineup. He'll catch. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Carlos Beltran. Chase Headley at third base, bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base, Starlin Castro. And Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, is going to bat ninth in 80 games since the second half of 2015. He's a .297 hitter, 6 home runs, and 40 runs batted in.
And here he is, Marcus Strowman, fired up and ready to go. Already done with his warm-ups. You see on the season, he's had one good one, one bad one. Gave up a home run in his last start, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks. Let's go ahead and check out the pitcher's scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And quality starter. Out of his 26 career Major League starts, 18 of them qualify as quality starts, which is 6 innings pitched at least, or 3 earned runs or less. That's pretty good. That's almost a 70% clip. Ground ball machine on his career, 56% ground ball rate. That's really good. Can't give up home runs on the ground. And breathe easy. He's been working, Michael, with a doctor on breathing techniques to try to help him calm down on the mound, control his emotions. He's highly emotional on the mound.
Well, he's ready on the mound, and Jacoby Ellsbury is ready. And let's do it here in Toronto. First pitch is a strike. We're underway. The crew chief, Jim Joyce, is behind the plate tonight. Marvin Hudson at first, James Hoy at second, and Chad Fairchild is over at third. 9 hits and 32 at-bats for Ellsbury so far this year. Strowman is just 5'9", but as David said, small body, big arm. And he's had success against the Yankees. His last 4 starts against the Yankees, 4-0 with a 2.08 ERA. And his career here at Rogers Center, 9-2, 2.14. Grounded to Tulowitzki. 1 away. I want to check out the Blue Jays defense, which is presented by Geico. Saunders, Pilar, and Bautista left to right in the outfield. In the infield, it's Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, and Colabello. Behind the plate is Russell Martin, and Marcus Strowman is on the mound. Here's Brett Gardner, who took a seat yesterday against the left-hander Jay Happ, now back in the lineup. 4 hits and 19 at-bats so far this year. 1-0. You see Strowman, odd number for a pitcher, number 6. He wears that to honor his grandmother, whose birthday, March 6th. And a strike.
When Strowman is right, everything is at the knees. We mentioned he's a ground ball machine. Already got 1 tonight. In his opening start, he dominated the Rays. Had 18 ground ball outs in that particular game.
Chop to second. Goins gets a nice hop and gets Gardner. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. We mentioned the roof is closed. It's always 68 degrees when it's closed. Temperature 43 degrees. Humidity is 49%. Not much wind. Mostly clear and cold outside. No precipitation is expected. Here's A-Rod. Alex was 0 for 4 last night with 2 strikeouts. And he was 0 for 4 in the first game of the series. So off to a slow start. 3 hits and 22 at-bats. And there's a strike. Marcus Strowman is from the island. He's from Medford, New York, in Suffolk County. And he went to Duke. And Alex with a ground ball to Tulowitzki. 3 ground balls, 3 down, 3 in a row for Strowman. The Yankees nothing, and the Blue Jays coming to bat. Eovaldi's turn against this Blue Jays starting lineup. Kevin Pillar in center field will lead off. Josh Donaldson, the reigning American League MVP, at third base, bats second. Batting third, playing right field, Jose Bautista. Edwin Encarnacion, the DH, will hit fourth. Batting fifth to shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki. His numbers are not great since coming over to the Blue Jays, just .221 in 50 games. Michael Saunders in left field will bat sixth. Batting seventh and playing first base, Chris Colabello. Russell Martin will catch, will bat eighth, and Ryan Goins, the second baseman, bats ninth.
Nathan Eovaldi ready to go. Kind of a mixed bag, as we said in the pregame show in his first start, although 7 strikeouts and no walks in those 5 innings. And let's go ahead and give you the pitcher scouting report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And leap year, that is what should happen this year. That's what the Yankees expect. He's had a year working with Larry Rothschild, who's one of the best in the business. They taught him a splitter. He's worked on a harder slider this year. All the pieces are in place for him to make a big leap this year. And as I said, that power slider we saw in his opening start in the low 90s. He threw it in the low 80s last year. And always with Eovaldi now, it is the split watch. That new split finger fastball that was so effective last year. We're always watching it and seeing how it's going.
And the pitch to Pillar is low, 1-0. Yankees don't score in the top of the first. And the 1-0. Fly ball down the right field line, but that makes the seats out of play. Eovaldi's pretty good away from the Bronx. His last 7 road starts last year, all wins. 7-0 with a 4.24 ERA. And against Toronto, no record, but a 1.42. There's that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. The count 3-1. Super arm for Eovaldi. Just has to harness it. 3-2.
It seems like Nathan Eovaldi's been around a while, but he's still very young, still has a high ceiling. The Yankees, especially Larry Rothschild, expect him to really fulfill his potential. Part of it is just a knack for pitching, learning how to expand the zone. The other part is repertoire.
Chopped up the middle, off second base and into center field. Ellsbury will get the ball in, so Pillar with a leadoff single. Why don't we check out the Yankee defense presented by Geico? In the outfield, Gardner, Ellsbury, and Beltran. That's left to right. In the infield, you've got Headley at third, Gregorius at short, Castro plays second, and Mark Teixeira's at first base. Brian McCann is back behind the plate. We told you all about Nathan Eovaldi on the mound.
Perfectly placed. Castro was probably going to get there, although Pillar gets down the line well. That's a base hit all the way.
Here's Donaldson, who started that rough 8th inning for Ivan Nova last night. 9 batters came to the plate. The Blue Jays broke open a tight game. It was 3-2 going into the bottom of the 8th when Nova came in, and the 4 runs made it 7-2, and the Yankees went down in the 9th.
Eovaldi has always been hard to steal off of. Very quick move, quick feet. For a right-handed pitcher, it's a nice weapon to have.
Rip foul.
Talked about this Blue Jay order, how good they are at hitting fastballs, always hunting a fastball. Donaldson, 95 miles an hour on the inside corner, rips it foul.
The 0-2. But David's told you the last couple of days about Donaldson with 41 homers and 41 doubles. He led the American League in total bases last year, just ahead of Mike Trout. One, two, swing and a miss. Got him. Donaldson down on strikes.
Talked about the split watch. That's a good one. First one of the night. And the beauty of this, right over the heart of home plate in the dirt. Nothing Donaldson can do with it. Wish you could bottle that pitch and throw a boatload of them. Easier said than done, but right there, first read, very good.
Here's Bautista. Keeping Pilar close. Late on that fastball, fouled it back.
Bautista, probably more than anybody else in that Blue Jay order, sees a lot of pitches. Kind of like Teixeira. Very good eye, hard to chase, hard to get him to chase.
Chop toward Teixeira. Flips to Eovaldi. Moving to second is Pilar, 2 away. So with a runner at second, that brings up Edwin Encarnacion. I believe it was Encarnacion who hit the foul tip that got the toe of McCann, so he looked back, probably was asking him how he felt, but McCann's in there, so that tells you how he felt. There was a lot of concern when McCann took himself out of the game in the 9th inning on Tuesday, but they did a fluoroscope, they didn't show a break, they drained the blood from underneath the nail, and he's okay.
Yeah, that's a pleasant procedure to go through, drill a hole right down through the top of your toenail just to drain it.
There it is. Got right underneath the guard. The 0-1. 1-1.
Encarnacion's got one thing in mind. Pull it, hit it in the air, and get it to go over the wall.
The Blue Jays have really gotten Encarnacion and Bautista at bargain prices for what they produced on this team. They signed him to a 3-year, $27 million contract in 2012, and then this year was a $10 million option, which they picked up. And you see the numbers he's put up for them. But he is a free agent at the end of this year. I don't think he's going to get $10 million. Swing and a miss as he goes down on strikes. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 1 in Toronto, and there is no score. Sunday, April 17th, when the Yankees take on the Mariners. It's calendar day, and all guests in attendance are going to receive a 2016 Yankees calendar, courtesy of MasterCard. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Nothing as we go to the top of the second. Yankees went down in order. 3 ground balls against Strowman in the first. It'll be Teixeira, McCann, and Beltran here in the second. Last year was a tough year for Strowman. In spring training, he's participating in bunting drills. A bunt was laid down. Third base side, he was going after it. Donaldson called him off, and his knee buckled, and he had an ACL repair surgery on his left knee. And they said he was going to be out for the year, but he got back toward the end of the year and contributed to the Blue Jays. There's a ground ball to first. 1 away.
It just goes to show you could never take anything for granted. A freak injury like that, but talk about a hard worker and a fast healer. You're right, Michael. I mean, not only did he come back quickly and help the Blue Jays, he got his degree at Duke. He went back to college, finished up his degree. He really pitched well for the Blue Jays down the stretch.
Yeah, he left Duke after his junior year. It was a first-round draft pick by the Blue Jays, 22nd overall. And when he went back, when he was rehabbing his knee, he got his major in sociology and his minor in markets and management. Two and two.
Really a good decision, you know, when you're a young kid like that coming out of high school, as Michael mentioned, from Long Island. He was drafted around in the 18th round, turned it down, chose to go to Duke. What a good decision that's been. Now he's got both. He's the #1 starter with a bright future, and he's also got a degree in his back pocket. He made the right call.
And a wave there by McCann as he goes down on strikes.
Oh, the Strowman slider. Tremendous depth down and in. That's a classic back leg slider. McCann cannot hold off of it. And you see the horseshoe slider classic grip on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz dealers. And you grip it in the horseshoe, you turn over the seams, and all 4 seams go downward. It's a matter of physics and using the seams for the break.
Oh and 2. Well, Strowman started the season opener, so he is the ace of the staff. They hope that he can do what David Price did. Now, they want to keep Price, but the price was too high as he went to the Red Sox, and they feel they have the #1 starter in this kid.
They also have another young kid that we saw the first night, Aaron Sanchez, at 23 years old, that also throws in the mid-90s. Was in the bullpen last year, counting on him in the rotation. And he was impressive to me. I mean, mid-90s, also throws a good, lively, moving fastball and an over-the-top hook.
Beltran serves it the other way. It's a base hit in front of Saunders. Well, we see Beltran do that a lot. Just take the ball the other way, and teams will continue to shift on him. Now, obviously, that went to the outfield, but we've seen him do it on the ground, too.
Yeah, good point, Michael. And this is off a changeup as well, off the plate, as Beltran goes out and covers it and just serves it into left field. Excellent job by Beltran on an 84-mile-an-hour changeup.
Strike to Chase Headley. Now he has a running conversation with himself, so this is after he gave up a hit, scolding himself, although that wasn't a bad pitch. That was a nice piece of hitting.
Those pitchers, sometimes we think the outfielder should catch everything out there. That was my read on that. Come on, catch the ball. Last thing you want to do is show up your fielders, but it's understandable, you know. When I was a young pitcher, you wanted the fielders to make every play on the day you pitched.
Swing and a miss as Headley goes down on strikes. No runs a hit. One man left. We go to the bottom of the second. 0-0. And we will show you the Jeep hitter scouting report for Troy.
Well, Rocky Mountain High, I mean, everybody knows about his career in Colorado. What an 8 or 9 year run he had there across the leaderboard and every active shortstop both ways. Gold gloves on defense, and the metrics back it up. Range factor, incredible hitter, home run potential. He's a perfect fit, you would think, for the Blue Jays in the American League East with the small ballparks. Think Fenway Park, Camden Yards, Yankee Stadium, but still adjusting, as you mentioned, Michael, on his numbers since he's been a Blue Jay. Hasn't quite fit into the American League yet. Learning the pitchers, learning the circuit.
And there's a strike from Eovaldi. Three infielders on the left side for Tulowitzki. Oh, 2.
3 straight years Tulowitzki finished in the top 10 in MVP voting. 6 different years he's received votes for MVP. A couple of Gold Gloves, a couple of Silver Sluggers, 5 All-Star teams.
Now, when the Blue Jays traded for Tulowitzki, they gave up Jose Reyes in the deal to the Rockies because they tried to match up the big salaries. And Reyes got into a domestic violence bit of trouble in Hawaii. It's since been dropped by the courts, but now Major League Baseball is deciding. And all of that maneuverability at shortstop has allowed Trevor Story, the youngster, to kind of burst upon the scene and hit all those home runs. And he'd been in the Rockies minor leagues.
Tulo's had his share of injuries, including a recent hip surgery back in 2014.
Popped up, shallow right, backing up is Castro. He's there to make the play. There's Michael Saunders, who had a couple of doubles, both of them quite different from each other, in yesterday's game. One kind of check swing the ground ball against the shift. Yankees have 3 infielders on the right side, and then he hit one over the head of Aaron Hicks in left field, up against the wall for a double. Strike. Oh, and 2.
One of the tough parts for a pitcher is disguising the grips. And Eovaldi already on the way, in motion, and still sort of switching the grip, tinkering with that split finger to a fastball to a curveball. It's one of the issues I had young in my career when I was young with the Mets, was tipping my pitches. And when do you get the grip? When you throw 3 or 4 different pitches, all different grips, well, you've got to figure out how to get it quickly without letting the hitter know that you're switching grips.
Strike 3. Saunders down looking. So what's the grip you always start with? The 2-seam fastball and move from there?
I always started usually with a fastball, as we'll see here. Eovaldi's pitch right at the release point. Great spot. Hard slider. You know, we talked about that slider. That ends up right down the middle, but it's so quick and so hard. Eovaldi was throwing that in the upper 80s, low 90s in his first start, and that's a new little wrinkle for him. But eventually, Michael, I would switch. I would start with the split finger grip because that's the hardest grip to get. And a lot of times hitters will pick up your glove. You'll fan your glove. There'll be a little more movement on your glove when you get a split finger grip. And therefore, the hitter knows what's coming. And that's not a good thing. One of the advantages the pitcher has is mystery. If you take the mystery out of it, the advantage goes back to the hitter.
Count 2-0 to Colabello. One hit, his first 15 at bats this year. .99 miles an hour. Fouled it back, so he's on that pitch.
More on tipping pitches, just to finish that point, Michael. You know, I pitched with Dwight Gooden in the Mets in his heyday. And Dwight flat out tipped his pitches. In his glove, he threw a fastball and a curve. The ball's in his glove. He would look down at the glove when he threw a curveball. And he would look at the hitter the whole time when he threw a fastball. I mean, the most obvious tip I think I've ever been around, and they still couldn't hit him. Finally figured it out. Mel Stottlemyre saw it on video. And yeah, we did actually have some video back then. VHS.
Black and white?
Yes, black and white. Crusty old video. See Eovaldi there, the glove high, waiting for the sign. Now going to switch to the grip.
Chop to Gregorius. And a 1-2-3 inning for Eovaldi. As the Blue Jays go down in order, and we go to the 3rd. 0-0 on yes. Matching zeros through the first 2 innings. Now we go to the third. It'll be 8-9-1 in the Yankee order, starting with Starlin Castro. Nice hello to Joyce and Russell Martin. Foul back. 9 hits in 26 at-bats for Castro. 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in. A lot of that damage was early against the Astros. Settled in just a bit. You know, you do your own self-scouting from him here. You watch every pitch, and you can see he has a little trouble with the breaking ball away. Sometimes he chases that. Very aggressive at the plate.
A lot of times he hits it too. But as we said, he's not a high on base percentage guy. He's not looking for a walk. He just needs to lay off it enough to be able to recognize that pitch and not chase the ones like that in the dirt. And a highly aggressive swinger, though.
And there's that pitch as he goes down on strikes. 1 away.
Well, this is above average too. Strowman straight down over the top with that slider. It's a fantastic break and depth on this pitch. And the free swinging Castro gone fishing.
Continually taps himself on the chest, then the stomach at times. Pitch inside to Gregorius, who had yesterday off. They played Ronald Torreyes, who got 2 hits but also made a big error in the field at shortstop.
Getting jiggy with it.
Chop to second, Goins. 2 outs.
Mentioned in our pregame scouting report that Strowman was working with a doctor on breathing techniques to try to keep himself calm on the mound. Very excitable. You can see he gets fired up. Actually had an altercation in his first start in Tampa Bay with Logan Morrison, screaming at each other. Logan Morrison thought that some of the theatrics on the mound were showing him up. Strowman complimented or said that he wasn't even talking to Logan Morrison, so they had a little back and forth in the opening start.
Let's take a look. Strowman is talking to himself, but Morrison thinks he's talking to him. Ground ball short. Nice play by Tulowitzki, off balance throw. And he gets Ellsbury for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. Not much to talk about. He's allowed just 1 Yankee to get on base as we go to the bottom of the 3rd.
The Yankees are playing in their 8th game of the season tonight, and although it is incredibly early, that has not stopped Joe Girardi from being asked about Alex Rodriguez and his slow start to the season. Alex Rodriguez has stepped to the plate 23 times so far in 2016. He's managed just 3 hits, 1 home run, 2 RBI. He's hitting 130 so far in the season. Joe Girardi said it's still too small a sample size, way too early to make any judgments on Rodriguez, but was very quick to say he thought he had some very good at-bats in Tuesday's game. Hit 2 balls on the screws, just had nothing to show for it. When you're hitting the ball that hard, he seems to think that luck is going to change the other way. He was also asked if he thought this was a carryover as Didi Gregorius gets the first out on Russell Martin. If this was a carryover, Michael, from last year when he really struggled at the end of the season. And Girardi simply said, I'm not God. I can't tell you exactly what happened there. We're going to have to wait and see. I know it's too early now to make a prediction on Alex Rodriguez.
Well, the Yankees need him because one thing that you've seen with the Yankees last year and early going this year, they are susceptible to left-handed pitching. They struggle against lefty starters, so they really need Alex Rodriguez to be the Alex Rodriguez from the first 4 months last year. There's Ryan Goins, 1-0.
And the question is going to be when to rest him. You know, we've already seen early in the season that Joe Girardi is very committed to getting a lot of rest for these guys after the supposed breakdown in the second half. Facing Marcus Stroman is a tough chore tonight for a right-handed batter.
Eovaldi deals a 2-0 and a strike.
Ryan Goins was the player of the game in last night's game. Impressive at bats, 2 booming doubles. I think Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, is probably the closest thing we have to an old school umpire nowadays. Not quite Dutch Rennert-like, but very distinctive strike call.
Fly ball, left field. In foul territory is Gardner. Did he make the play? We shall see. Yes, he did. 2 away. Nice play by Brett Gardner.
Yes, indeed. Gardner's got it sized up the whole way, and he knows at this point I got to go up and get it, because once the ball's into the seats, the fans have a right to grab the ball, and everybody's looking at the ball, and nobody's looking at Gardner, and nobody's going to help him. Hey, how about a little hand, huh? No chance. Down goes Gardner.
Happened in the Met game the other day where Yoenis Cespedes went flying into the stand, didn't catch the ball. They said the only reason he went flying into the stand is because he did not want to hurt his knees up against the fence, so he made the dive into the stands. And we saw that. Who can forget that great play in 2004 where Derek Jeter made the play, flying into the stands on the left side. Came out all cut up on his face.
That was the only way Jeter could have made that play, coming from the shortstop position. Not a lot of hang time on that.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strong first 3 innings for Nathan Eovaldi. A leadoff single to Pilar. After that, he's retired all the Blue Jays with the help from Gardner. RAV4 hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Do the Warriors have to win a title to validate their historic year like the '98 Yankees and the '72 Dolphins did? Though Sarah said, of course, look at the 2001 Mariners. Nobody talks about them, yet everyone remembers the '98 Yankees. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees RAV4 hybrid to keep the conversation going. Brett Gardner leads off. What a magnificent performance by Golden State last night. Magnificent performance by Steph Curry. And they win 73 games in 82, which is absolutely unbelievable, breaking the record held by the Chicago Bulls. Now, I don't think you'll ever be able to take away the 73. Great season. But I guess to validate the whole deal, David, they have to win the championship.
We certainly felt that in 1998, without a doubt. And I know talking to Lou Piniella, he felt that way too. He was the manager of the Mariners, who won 116 games that year.
Bunted back to Strowman. He gets Gardner. It's amazing. That was a great Mariner team, and they ended up losing to the Yankees in the playoffs. And when you talk about the record holder in baseball, everybody goes, well, Yankees 98, 125 and 50, add in the 11 that you guys won in the postseason. And people forget Seattle won 116 because they didn't win the World Series.
Well, that's right. We won 114 that year in 1998 with the Yankees.
And then you have the Patriots. They go 18-0. They lose to the Giants in the Super Bowl. You still remember that they could have been 19-0, but could have been, and they don't win the Super Bowl. So that took some of the edge off of that. One more incredible stat about Golden State, David. Never, not once all year, did they lose back-to-back games. So if they keep that up in the playoffs, they have to win the championship because they have home field throughout, home court throughout.
And they played hard the whole season. Didn't rest anybody.
Yep.
Didn't take any breaks.
Except Curry sat out a lot of fourth quarters because they had such big leads. Last game, he did not play in the fourth quarter. One-two to A-Rod. Bounced up there.
No matter how great a career you've had, what kind of confidence you had, confidence is fleeting. You need something tangible. Even somebody with a resume like Alex Rodriguez needs something to show for your efforts. Even though he swung the bat fairly well here, as Meredith mentioned before, a couple line drives to right in the first game. Nonetheless, you need something to show for your efforts. You need some hits. You need some results.
And that clipped A-Rod on the way by, so Alex will take first. Second Yankee base runner, Carlos Beltran, has a single. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Here's Teixeira. Pitch is low, 1-0. Now 1-1. That one is lined to right field, and it'll fall in front of Bautista for a base hit. A-Rod advances to second. Second hit for the Yanks. Yankees in game 1 of this series, a game they won 3-2. They were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Yesterday, 1 for 7. So 2 for 17 in these situations so far in the first 2 games. And there's the first runner in scoring position tonight. Here's McCann. Check out the Honda League leaders, and we look at the runs leaders in the American League early on. And Brian McCann and Josh Donaldson are tied with Jose Altuve. All have 10 sitting atop the leaderboard. Oh and 2.
Advantage for McCann here, even though he's down 0-2, is no extreme shift. Runners on first and second inhibits the ability for defenses to shift.
Rolls slightly away from Martin, but runners stay put.
Also Martin, another great block in the dirt. What confidence that gives you as a pitcher, knowing that no matter what you throw, this guy's going to smother it. Sliders in the dirt, splitters, whatever you got, go ahead.
Still 1 and 2.
Kind of get the feeling, the way both pitchers are throwing the baseball early in this game, that opportunities may be limited.
Ground ball up the middle, grabbed by Gomes, knocked down though, and everybody is safe. He was thinking double play before getting it firmly in the glove. Bases loaded for the Yanks.
Get another look. This is one of those ground balls when you really get the true transition from artificial turf to dirt. And yes, that ball came up on him. He covered a lot of ground getting there. Goins with good range.
McCann gets a hit.
A little bit of a high hop too, from the turf to the dirt.
Let's see how McCann was running with that toe. Not too bad for him.
Yeah.
A big spot in this game early. Carlos Beltran at the plate, bases loaded. So Strowman coasting. One out here in the fourth, then he hits A-Rod. Gives up the single to Teixeira and the single to McCann with Beltran at the plate. Another block by Martin.
It's a good hitter's count here. 2-1, veteran hitter, young pitcher. Pick out a spot if you're hitting here. Look for a certain pitch, certain spot.
2 and 2.
Strowman's moving fastball, a real weapon in this situation. Looking for a ground ball double play to get out of this.
Just missed. No place to put Beltran. 3 and 2 with 1 out. Bases loaded.
Martin wants it down and away. It's down and in, and it looks to be low. And it is.
3-2. Grounded to second. Let's see if they turn 2. There's one on the first. Not in time. Eovaldi scores. So Beltran beats the return, avoiding the double play, getting the ribby, and the Yankees are up 1-0.
Just good enough. Bang, bang. Clearly safe. Wasn't hit quite hard enough, and Beltran down the line very well.
Turning back the clock.
Looked a little bit like that, yes. I mean, really turned it on at the end. There was a time when that man really used to fly, and Strowman wanted it bad.
So the Yankees get the first run of the game. They're up 1-0. And they have runners on the corners with 2 outs for Chase Headley. Shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. 1-0. Right before he goes into his motion, he gives you that little tee on turn where you see the number 6 if you're the batter. Probably during that time, David, he's getting his grip.
Partly, yes, getting his grip, and also as a reminder to stay closed. Keep that front shoulder closed. He does it every time.
Like that. 2-2.
But you're exactly right, Michael. He is kind of fiddling with his grip. Right at the bottom of the strike zone. Yes or no? That looked a little low too. Russell Martin, pretty good job back there.
The 2-2. 3-2. That releases Beltran at first. 3-2, 2 outs.
This inning has pushed Strowman's pitch count up. Number 64 coming.
Payoff. And he walks Headley. So reload the bases for Castro. And that'll bring out Pete Walker. One walk, 3 strikeouts, but the hit batter is what started it all. And he was heading the count on A-Rod and just clipped him. So a big spot for Starlin Castro with the bases loaded. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. 29 pitches this inning. He's had 2 9-pitch innings. Castro could really give Eovaldi some breathing room here against this tough Blue Jay lineup. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Pumps a fastball in there for a strike. Bullpen ready. Pat Venditti, we saw him yesterday, the switch pitcher. And that one gets away from Martin. Here comes Teixeira. He'll score. The runners move up, and the Yankees have a 2-0 lead on the wild pitch.
Well, Russell Martin doesn't expect that one. That's a fastball sinker down. Just doesn't have time to get into the block motion. Catchers can anticipate a block in the dirt if it's an off-speed pitch, but fastball is very difficult to do that with. Strowman starting to overthrow some pitches at this point.
One. Chopped foul. 1-2. Yankees up 2-0, looking for more. Second and third, 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. The 1-2 pitch. Bounced up there. Another block by Martin. Martin earning his money this inning.
So you want to be a catcher, huh?
Grounded to Tulowitzki. Got a nice hop. Gets Castro. That'll do it. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 runners left. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-0 Bombers. Yes, is brought to you in part by GMC. We are professional grade. Learn more at GMC.com and by People's United Bank NA. The way you bank, but way better. Josh Donaldson leads off the bottom of the 4th inning. Swings at the first pitch and skies it out to right. 1 pitch, 1 out as Beltran makes the play.
Well, we asked about the split watch in the pregame, and it's been good. Donaldson in the first, straight down. Encarnacion, no chance. Pilar waving. Actually, 4 strikeouts tonight from Eovaldi on that split. Those 3 just as good as they could be thrown. All around 90 miles an hour, too.
Here's Bautista. 1-0. Bautista with a ground ball to Teixeira in the first inning. Bautista will take Milwaukee at 110 walks last year. And he's done that 4 times, 100 or more walks with the Blue Jays. Audi scoreboard 2-0. Yankees lead, bottom of the 4th. Shows bunt, takes high. Just trying to distract Eovaldi. The count 3-0.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. That's what makes Bautista so valuable. The home run power and the on-base percentage, because he eyeballs a lot of walks.
And he walks on 4 pitches. So that's the first walk for Eovaldi. .44 pitches for Eovaldi. And that brings up Encarnacion, who struck out in the first inning. A lot of the right side of the infield is open as Castro shades up the middle. Eovaldi's thrown 8 of 12 first pitch strikes. And that one's low. So 2 in a row where he has not thrown a first pitch strike. And McCann wants to have a talk with him. Also first extended time on the bench as the Yankees put together a rally.
Just a little breather there. McCann going out, grabbing the rosin bag. A quick word for Eovaldi. Nothing profound, probably, just to give a little break, regroup. Maybe mention the pitch he wants to throw here.
You always see that after a trip. They ask the pitcher to throw a breaking ball because it slows everything down.
Slows everything down, and Toronto's such a fastball hitting team, a curveball. Boy, if Eovaldi corrals that one, that's the slowest pitch in his arsenal. From 76 to 96.
Jacks it to 98 there.
You get that kind of variation between velocities. And in the middle, 90-mile-an-hour splitters and sliders about that range too. When you need a strike, one of the best I ever saw was El Duque. He could drop a slow curve for a strike at any time, especially when you have a hitter that's a fastball hitter. It's an easy way to get a strike when you're behind in the count. Starting off a hitter. All of these Blue Jay hitters are great, not only fastball hitters, but first pitch fastball hitters.
Boy, you look at his arsenal, and then you look at his arm. There are pitchers out there that would drool to have this sort of just raw stuff.
And he's been very sharp tonight. The last walk to Bautista notwithstanding. Encarnacion with a good take right there on a 90-mile-an-hour splitter. In spring training, one of the things Brian McCann was trying to work with Eovaldi on was the high fastball too, up and out of the zone, to complement all those other pitches.
Chop and past Headley and down the left field line. Playing off the wall is Gardner. Heading around third and being held there is Bautista as Gardner gets the ball in quickly. It's a double for Encarnacion. Second and third. One man out.
Probably the first splitter that Eovaldi's left up. And even though Encarnacion beats it in the ground, he gets it right down the line. And a last-minute holdup from third base coach. And the right call, second and third with one out.
Well, the Yankees will play the infield back. They'll give up a run on a ground ball. Here's Tulowitzki. He popped to Castro in the second inning. Popped up. That will not get a run in. As Gregorius puts it away. That's a big out for Eovaldi. Boy, you can just tell Tulowitzki is so anxious to get a big hit. 2 pop-ups tonight, second and short.
We got a pitch he can handle there too. Another splitter from Eovaldi that stayed up. Kind of ran in on his hands though. That's up there and hanging. Actually, he got that off the end of the bat. He's out in front of it. You could tell how disappointed he is because that's a pitch he can handle.
So here's Michael Saunders. The infield backs up with 2 outs, second and third. Yankees up 2-0, bottom of the 4th. Oh, 0-1.
Hey, Johnny.
Great job by McCann, leading Eovaldi to use that curveball in this inning. A couple of big spots. Jump ahead 0-1 right here with that curve. Puts Eovaldi right in the driver's seat. Trying to get out of this inning. It's the last piece of the puzzle, Michael. Just that knack, that feel for pitching. The right mix. The up, down, in, out part. How to expand the zone.
McCann held that there. Didn't get the call. Count 2-1.
Tries to go back door with that slider and breaks around the plate.
Time called.
Wouldn't be surprised to see McCann go splitter right here. First base open, right-handed batter on deck.
Two and two.
And a good one down. Get Saunders over the top of it. 2-1. You're going to get a fastball? No, you're not. Diving splitter.
What do you do here, David?
Stay with what got you there. See if he'll swing at that one again. Get it down.
And that one's fouled off.
And he did. It was a good one. Just got a piece of it. Another good split, as you see. Eovaldi's got it working. He's left a couple up in this inning, but for the most part, all night long, he has been on top of this pitch, and it has been down and filthy. 2 in a row, 2 splitters in a row. Unless you just really feel you have confidence to bury one a little lower, you've got him set up for a fastball in. You speed up the bat, you slow down the bat. Two splitters have sped up Saunders' bat. He's been out in front. If you can paint the inside corner, you got him.
Two. Fouls that one away.
See McCann opting for backdoor slider there. A good one. Cat and mouse game. Do you stay off speed? That's 3 straight off speed. Splitter, splitter, slider. Do you want to chance it with a heater? Throw him the heater.
Swing and a tip into the glove of McCann, and Eovaldi works out of trouble. A big strikeout for Nathan Eovaldi. No runs a hit. 2 men left. We go to the 5th inning. practicing, and he's in some really exclusive company with those other pitchers. So Velasquez was really dealing today, and they got him from Houston in the Ken Giles deal. So pretty good stuff. The Phillies trying to build it back.
They're pretty happy with that trade right now.
Cadillac scoreboard 2-0 Yankees. How about Eovaldi kept going to the splitter, and so did McCann.
They did. A lot of confidence in it. He's had a good one tonight.
And David, what do they say? If you're going to keep throwing a pitch like that, each one has to be better than the next.
Yes, and down and out of the zone, and Eovaldi's got to work a late break on that splitter.
Ground ball to Goins. One away. Let's go back to Bob Lorenz. He has more info for us. And the Nats are off to a great start. So Dusty Baker has a healthy team, which they didn't have last year with the Nationals, and Strasburg pitched well today as well. So I think the Nats are 7-1 to open the season. And really, what'd you expect from the Braves? And they just keep trading all of their veterans and guys with. They released Swisher, they released Bourne, so they've got a lot of young kids playing. They're building toward the opening of their stadium next year.
Yeah, you wonder how long before Freddie Freeman becomes part of the long list of turnover potential trade. Marcus Strowman, 34 pitches in the last inning. Desperately needs a quick one here.
You ever pitch with chains like that?
No, I hated it. I didn't want any distractions.
I wonder if that distracts the hitters a little bit.
The hitters can complain, and he'd have to remove it. He's okay until somebody complains about it. Sure, there's some symbolism there, and whatever works for you is good.
As Ellsbury works a walk. Let's check out tonight's injury report around MLB, brought to you by Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art health care. Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies placed on the 15-day DL today with turf toe. Pablo Sandoval placed on the 15-day DL yesterday, sprained left shoulder. Did you see the replay of the Sandoval swing where he popped his belt?
Yes, I did.
Not a good optic.
That was a gift for social media.
You got to give the Red Sox credit, though. He's got a $20 million a year contract, and at the end of spring training, John Farrell said, you know, he's not starting. Gave the job to the kid Shaw, and he's done very well. Runner goes. Pitch is low. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for Ellsbury. Good pick at second by Goins.
Yes, it was, and a great jump. Watch this walking lead. Ellsbury off and running, Ricky Henderson style. And you're right, Michael. Goins made this closer than it should have been. Clearly safe. On our Yes-Mo, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
And the reason he was safe is because it was a short hop, and it just naturally brought the glove up. He couldn't bring it down as he made the catch. So runner in scoring position, 2-0 count on Gardner. It's 2-0 Yankees, top of the fifth. Hit sharply to Goins. As Ellsbury moves to third, 2 away, bringing up A-Rod. Well, A-Rod started the Yankees' 2-run 4th inning with 1 out. He was hit by a pitch. He has been booed every time he's come up in this 3-game set. The crowd's been kind of subdued the entire series, but when A-Rod comes up, they voiced their displeasure. Almost foul back.
Definitely the biggest crowd of the series here, though, in the finale.
$27,000 plus last night, 28,000 plus on the first night. Oh, 0-2. Ellsbury leads off third. 2 outs, the 0-2 pitch. Grounded to short, Tulowitzki. Gets A-Rod, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 4.5, we're halfway through. Yankees up by 2. Fifth inning, and on the Cadillac scoreboard, the Yankees up 2-0. It'll be the bottom third of the order against Nathan Eovaldi. Start off with Colabello, who grounded out to short in the second, so he's 0 for 1. 2 hits for the Blue Jays against the Yankee righty, and the first pitch is a strike. The 0-1. 0-2.
Colabello just wears his heart on his sleeve. He's an easy read. Didn't like the first call. Was trying to call timeout that at bat. Couldn't get timeout. Swings through the pitch.
Grounded to third. Big hop. Headley fires a strike. 1 out.
Split finger was carrying Eovaldi tonight so far. You know, Michael, we always talked about, old pitching coaches would say there's always one spot, at least one spot during the game where you're going to have trouble and it can make or break you. We've kind of seen it in this game. Marcus Stroman, the hit batter, got him in trouble, worked himself through that inning and ended up giving up 2 runs. Eovaldi last inning got out of it with a big strikeout to end it.
You know, when the Yankees got Eovaldi from the Marlins, the big knock was he gave up so many hits. Well, he didn't change planes, and the splitter has really given him that different look. Now, he throws 98, but he throws 98 straight, so he had to give people a different look. Alex Rodriguez preached to him in the middle of last year, you got to go up a little bit, give me something down. You can't just throw that fastball because you'll catch up with it.
It's very well put. That knack for pitching, changing planes, exactly right. Making hitters uncomfortable.
Three and 1 on Russell Martin. When Russell was a little kid, his dad saw right away that he had an aptitude for baseball and wanted to be able to take him to games and make sure that he got all the learning that he needed when it came to the sport. So his dad quit his job and earned money just playing saxophone in the Montreal subway system. And this way he pretty much made his own hours, and whenever Russell needed to be driven to a game, his dad was there. Dedicated parent. 3-2 outside. Martin walks. Time for the timeless moment, brought to you by Coors Banquet. And this is really an important moment in Yankee history. And we go back to 1955. And Elston Howard makes his debut, and he becomes the first African-American to play for the New York Yankees. I never really got a chance to know Elston Howard, but everyone that had ever met him that I have spoken to say he was such a gentleman. He was such a great, great Yankee. And did so many great things for the team as well. Goins tips it into the glove of McCann. 2-0 Yankees, bottom of the 5th. Oh, 2. Yankees missed Eovaldi at the end of the year. Had elbow soreness. Missed the final month. But if the Yankees would have beaten the Astros and moved on to the next round of the playoffs, he would have been on the active roster. He was ready to come back. And that was a good sign for this year as well. The 0-2. Driven out to center field and deep. Going back, Ellsbury. Still back. Near the track. On the track. He makes the play for the second out as Martin heads back to first. Sometimes it gets frustrating for Goins because he went to Dallas Baptist University, and in his senior season he had 22 home runs, but his power doesn't translate to the bigger ballparks and the better pitchers up here. Sometimes it's just long fly balls. More of a doubles guy when he's going right. But he hit that one well.
Yeah, McCann wanted the high fastball.
Pilar grounds one inside third, slightly off the bag and down the left field line. Gardner comes up throwing, fires to second, but Pilar's in there with a double. Moving to third is Martin. I believe that got the inside of the third base bag, which redirected it just a bit. We'll see. Yep.
Indeed, and that actually saves the Yankees because that ball might get down in the corner, allowing Martin a better chance to score from first base. But that little redirection right there sends it Gardner's way and takes a little steam off of it.
Blue Jays have hit second base today, and now they've hit third base. But they're looking for the big hit, and here's Donaldson with the tying runs on base. Donaldson's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly ball to right.
Donaldson always ready for a first pitch fastball.
Count 1-0.
Eovaldi with a 92-mile-an-hour slider just off. 2 outs, first base open. Bautista on deck.
Now it's driven deep to center field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run into the restaurant for Donaldson. A 3-run blast. And the Blue Jays are up 3-2. Oh, what a shot. Pitch to Bautista's outside.
Woke up this crowd as Eovaldi hangs a splitter. It's one of the few that he's gotten up. It's been so good tonight on a 1-0 pitch.
Bautista wraps one to left field. Long run for Gardner. He slides and he makes the play, taking an extra base hit away from Bautista. But they can't take away this extra base hit. A bomb, a 3-run home run. One swing gives the Blue Jays a 3-2 lead. Here in 2016, it's a big 3-run home run into the seats and the second deck in center field, and gives the Blue Jays a 3-2 lead. Mark Teixeira will lead off the 6th for the Yanks. 1-0.
One of the more intense players in the big leagues, Josh Donaldson, lights up his dugout.
Chop to first. Colabello flips to Strowman. One away.
.89-mile-an-hour split finger. Ends up in the second deck.
Here's Brian McCann. High pop-up. Shallow left. Donaldson makes the play. That pop-up to Donaldson is the first out via air against Strowman. Pitch outside to Beltran. So it's 3-2 Toronto, top of the 6th inning. Up the middle and right there on the shift is Tulowitzki, and he guns to Colabello. An easy 1-2 inning for Marcus Strowman. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Blue Jays. Back home in the Bronx to begin a weekend set with Robinson Cano and the Seattle Mariners. Coverage begins at 6 with Audi batting practice today, and then the Chevy pregame. Then Paul O'Neill and Al Leiter will join me for the call. It's only on Yes. It's going to be Luis Severino against Nathan Carnes. Encarnacion leads off here in the bottom of the 6th, and the first pitch is a strike, fastball. Toronto leads 3-2 on the Donaldson 3-run home run in the 5th.
Michael, when I had games like this, you have to expect every now and then you're going to hang a pitch and give up a home run. It's the walk before it, the walk to Russell Martin that made that a 3-run home run instead of a solo shot. Very close pitch right there as Jim Joyce eyeballs it.
It's such a cliche, but the walk comes back to kill you all the time. It really is a free pass.
Another situation there. McCann trying to get Eovaldi to throw his fastball inside. Eovaldi shaking off. No real establishment of any inside pitches at all. Inside corner for strikes or pushing off the hitters. Just the threat of something inside and hard. Non-existent.
Swing and a miss. Encarnacion down on strikes for the second time tonight.
But Eovaldi has shown really good stuff tonight. Very frustrating that he finds himself down 3-0 here. But overall, if I'm sitting on that bench, there's a lot to like of what you've seen from Eovaldi.
Tulowitzki crushes one to left. Fair ball, it's gone. It's a fair ball. It's a 4-2 Blue Jay lead.
See McCann going out to talk to Eovaldi now. It's another off speed out over the plate. A slider this time as Tulo's all over it. Tulo missed a hanging splitter his last time up with men on base. First pitch slider here. Right down the line. Plenty of distance.
So a 3-run shot and a solo shot. It's 4-2 Toronto. The pitch to Saunders. Here's a strike. So a couple of mistakes and he's paid for them. Here in the bottom of the 6th, it's 4-2. Lined into left center field. It's a base hit. Cutting over is Ellsbury. Saunders is going for 2. The throw is not in time. It's a double for Michael Saunders.
That'll get him up. This Rothschild goes right to the bullpen phone.
Colabello takes outside.
You know, when I talk about pitching inside, Michael, I'm not talking about head hunting or knocking people down as you see Johnny Barbados up, who's been so impressive early on. It's more about inside off, make them move their feet, and then doubling up on the inside corner, about commanding the inside corner.
Fly ball center field. Drifting back. Ellsbury, he makes the catch. Tagging is Saunders. And he goes to third. David, why the reluctance? Are you afraid to leave it out over the plate?
It's could be psychological. I'm not sure. Maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable going in there. It's a learned skill without a doubt. Maybe he's afraid of hitting somebody inside. You know, we saw it earlier in the game. He did come inside a couple of times. But the ability to pitch inside is so important. It's the last step for any pitcher that wants to be great. Commanding the inside corner.
Russell Martin takes a breaking ball outside.
Making
for
hitters,
a strike.
excuse me, Michael, making hitters uncomfortable, changing their eye level.
One and one.
We saw this in Detroit A lot of the right-handed Detroit Tiger hitters leaning over the plate, driving pitches the other way, diving, covering pitches out on the outer half.
Fastball strike, 1-2. Runner at third base with 2 outs. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning at Rogers Center. Swing and a miss, got him on the slider. But Tulowitzki rips one into the second deck down the left field line, his second home run of the year. And when it lands, it's Toronto 4 and the Yankees 2. Inning on the GMC scoreboard. For the Yankees, it'll be the bottom third of the order against Marcus Strowman, Headley, Castro, and Gregorius. So a couple of home runs by the Blue Jays, and that's what they do. Last year, they just bashed home run after home run right to the American League East title. And they will hurt you. They will hit mistakes, and that's what they did against Eovaldi, who, if you take a look at the broad scope, has pitched well, has good stuff, but has made a couple of mistakes and paid for both of them. I'm sure he's gotten away with a couple, but a 3-run home run and a solo shot makes it 4-2. So the Yankees offense has some catching up to do. Headley 0 for 1 with a walk. And a strike from Strowman. Grounded to Tulowitzki. One away.
It's a ground ball machine is Strowman. We talked about it. Michael, you mentioned it. Just 1 out in the air today for Strowman. Still throwing ground balls at this point.
15 ground balls and 3 strikeouts. He's at 92 pitches. And that brings up Castro. 0-1.
Also talked about Strowman's propensity for quality starts. He's on target for another one. This would be the 19th quality start and 27 career starts.
Pat Venditti warming for the Blue Jays again. He was up earlier. That one is drilled to center field. Pilar back, still back, and he makes the play on the track to retire Castro.
Good swing. Strowman gets one up. Castro puts a swing on it. But Pilar catches everything out there. Looked promising off the bat. Not enough.
Gregorius with a big swing and a miss. Fly ball, left field. Saunders is there, and a 1-2-3 inning for Marcus Stroman. We've played 6.5 here north of the border. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Blue Jays lead this one 4-2. A little bit later on, let's look at the game summary, which is brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Blue Jays have 6 hits to the Yankees 3. It's 4-2. Nathan Eovaldi, 6 hits, 6 innings. Marcus Stroman, 3 hits in 7 innings. Donaldson, a 3-run home run. Tulowitzki, a solo home run. So Eovaldi becomes the 2nd Yankee starter in this young season to throw a pitch in the 7th inning. The other one's CC Sabathia. Here's Ryan Goins. And there's a strike. GMC scoreboard, 4-2 Toronto. Fouled away. Goins with a foul ball caught by Gardner in the 3rd, and then a fly ball to center in the 5th. A deep drive run down by Ellsbury. Strike 3, Goins down looking. Let's go back to Bob Lorenzi. He has more information. Well, thank you, Bob. So the Yankees have Swisher down there in case something happens to Teixeira, and Swisher shows that he can still play, and he's been bothered by knee surgery on each of his knees. The last couple of years have been a wash for him, but the Yankees saw him in a spring training game where the Yankees played the Braves, and they felt that the skill was still there, so they're rolling the dice on Nick Swisher. Drew Storen gave up a home run yesterday to Teixeira. He's up in the bullpen. Ground ball right side. Bobbled, but Castro recovers and just gets Pilar.
Nice recovery by Castro. Got to it quickly. And yes, in plenty of time.
Well, Eovaldi has now gone 2 batters or 2 outs more than any Yankee starter. Remember, CC pitched in the 7th in Detroit, didn't get anybody out, faced 2 batters. So Eovaldi, pitch count's in pretty good shape. And he's got 2 outs here in the 7th, but he's trailing 4-2. Here's Donaldson, who did all the damage with that 3-run home run in the 5th inning. He takes a strike.
Eovaldi, 8 strikeouts tonight as well.
Rip, fair, inside 3rd and down the left field line. Gardner fields. They'll flip the ball into Gregorius. It's a double for Donaldson. Well, he's in a good spot in this lineup. He can play, and he's got Bautista behind him.
Yes, the catbird seat. Batting 2nd, and Girardi making a change.
98 pitches for Eovaldi, and Joe Girardi will make the call to the bullpen. By your Tri-State BMW Centers. By Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2016 models. Johnny Barbado against Jose Bautista. So Barbado on in relief of Eovaldi. Outside. Barbado pitched in the first game of the series, got his first big league win. And the Blue Jays really were raving about him after the game. The stuff, they didn't really know him. One-0. 2-0. This is the 4th game for Barbado. 5 strikeouts in 3 1/3. Dialed it up to 94, got it past Bautista. 2-1. That's Eovaldi's line. He's given up 4 runs, and Donaldson at second is his responsibility. Misses outside. 3-1. You've got Encarnacion on deck. We're in the bottom of the 7th. It's 4-2 Toronto.
Well, Eovaldi's going to get another shot because obviously in the unbalanced schedule in the American League East, this is just the first series between these two teams. And both sides see the starters multiple times before it's over.
Fights off that pitch inside, 3-2. Each team in the American League East will play 6 series against each other. 3 home, 3 away.
It was Toronto finally making the breakthrough last year and clearly dominating the Yankees in the season series, especially down the stretch. After all the trades, the Blue Jays went 40-17 in their last 57 games.
3-2. Bautista works a walk, his second walk. Doesn't get really easy for Barbado. Now he has to face Encarnacion. That one's just a little low.
And it is, as Bautista, one of the best eyes in the big leagues. Sees more pitches per at bat than just about anybody else does Bautista, and then one protects the other. Bautista protects Donaldson. This guy protects Bautista.
Foul back that fastball. I don't think that McCann really liked that pitch. He goes out and talks with Barbado.
They all do not get cheated either, Michael. I mean, you see some big swings.
And that one drifted back over the middle of the plate, and that concerned McCann enough that he went out and talked with him.
Full extension right on that pitch.
Dialed it up to 95, 0-2.
And on the inside corner. Hello. Very nice pitch. McCann wants it in there. Barbado ties him up in there at 95, as Michael said.
Strike 3, Encarnacion down looking at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. His 3rd strikeout of the evening, Encarnacion. The Blue Jays strand 2. It's 4-2 Toronto. Of this game, great catch by Brett Gardner. These replays brought to you by New York Presbyterian. the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here as Tulowitzki hits one right into your living room. All right, we go to the 8th inning, and Strowman still out there to face the top of the order for the Yankees. Blue Jays lead 4-2. Pitch outside. Hyundai scoreboard 4-2, 4-7-0 Toronto, 2-3-0 for the Yankees. Single by Beltran in the second, 2 hits by the Yankees in the fourth, also singles. One and one on Ellsbury, who walked in the fifth, his first walk of the year. And that one's lined to left field. Saunders used his bare hand to shade his eyes from the lights and then made the play.
Good swing by Ellsbury, and you see very unusual technique there. Scared everybody in the Blue Jay dugout with that, but pulled it out.
Here's Gardner. And a strike.
Brett Gardner, like a lot of these Yankee hitters, 3 ground ball outs.
Slapped the other way. So they're pushing the envelope with Strowman. He's over 100 pitches. I don't think they have that much faith in their bullpen other than their closer. Still a work in progress.
And Strowman tends to have quick innings when he goes well. If he gets somebody on base, probably a change.
Goins gets the hustling Gardner for the second out.
Just natural movement on Strowman's fastball. He doesn't throw 95 plus or 98 like Eovaldi, but low 90s, 91 to 93, 94, sinking, running action. Very hard for hitters to square up.
Here's Alex. 2 ground balls to short. Also was hit by a pitch and scored a run. The Yankees got their runs on a ground ball that Beltran beat out. It would have been an inning-ending double play, and then a wild pitch. Grounded and grabbed by Donaldson. He does a 360 and fires to get A-Rod. Donaldson with a sparkler in the field. And Strowman has retired the last 11 Yankees in a row. Let's take it to the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays 4 and the Yankees 2. Yankees. Strowman has retired the last 11 Yankees following a walk. So he's held them down. A lot of ground balls and a real nice play by Donaldson. Ends the 8th, taking a base hit away from Alex. So Johnny Barbado, who got the final out of the 7th, will now deal to Tulowitzki here in the bottom of the 8th. Well, these guys, as David said, they do not get cheated. The closer, youngster Roberto Osuna, heating up.
I think the one thing you'd look at in the Blue Jay lineup is it is right-handed dominated, but all of these right-handed batters seem to be not affected by righties or lefties. Obviously, they crush left-handed pitching, but they all hang in there too on right-handed pitching.
The 0-2.
And no real reason to split them up, one right after the other. Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki. Big swingers, big hitters, all right-handed.
Two. Hadley. And Tulowitzki is retired, one away here in the bottom of the 8th. Barbado doesn't seem very happy with himself.
He felt like he got a couple of sliders up there. Didn't quite get it where he wanted, but that's a good attitude to have. Never satisfied.
Saunders takes a strike. Saunders has struck out twice and then doubled to left center. That came in the 6th. If you want to look ahead to the 9th inning, Teixeira, McCann, and Beltran against Osuna. 0-2. Line, base hit. Right field. So Saunders picks up a single with one out.
Saunders could be a real X factor for the Blue Jays lineup. Missing almost all of last year with an injury. The one left-handed bat with pop in that lineup.
Colabello swings and misses. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Yankees want to get out of town before Colabello starts to find it. He had a good year last year, but really struggling in the early going, hitting .056. Crowd here at Rogers Center doing the wave. That's the cheers you hear in the background. Fly ball center field. Ellsbury will make the play. As Saunders heads back to first. 2 outs. And that brings up Russell Morton. Morton's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Grounded to short. That was in the 3rd. Walked and scored in the 5th. Struck out in the 6th. Martin against Barbado. Chop foul.
Where's Bald Vinny when you need him? Bleacher Creatures notoriously hates the wave. Actually had t-shirts, I think, an anti-wave t-shirt.
Watching the Golden State game yesterday, and they were doing the wave. This team's about to create history, and they were doing the wave at Oracle Arena. Missed outside with the breaking ball. 1-2 after the game. The Yankees will head home, start a long homestand, and 3 games against Seattle. Seattle 3-6 in its first 9 games. Swing and a miss. Martin down on strikes. No runs a hit. 1 man left. Yankees coming up in the 9th is the heart of the order. Teixeira, McCann, Beltran, 2 runs down. To the final out for the WB Mason postgame on Yes. Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, Ken Singleton are back in the studio. They have highlights and analysis from tonight's game, and Meredith Marakovitz gets the clubhouse reaction. It's all coming up on the postgame, only on Yes. Justin Smoke takes over at first base, tighten things up there defensively, and the 21-year-old closer Antonio Osuna. Roberto, his uncle is Antonio, pitched 11 years in the big league, so this is Roberto. And he will face Mark Teixeira. This kid does not scare easily. 16, he was pitching as a professional in the Mexican League. 18 years old, he had Tommy John surgery. And last year, goes to spring training, never pitching above A ball, and made the team. And there's a strike.
And they kind of see him as a future starter, too, but it's hard to get him out of that closer role right now. So it's going to be another year as a closer, and he's been visiting Josh Donaldson's barber as well.
Donaldson with a 3-run home run. Kind of changed the tenor of the game. Yankees are up 2-0 at that point. 1-2. Inside, 2-2. Just got a piece. His dad pitched in the Mexican League for 22 years. So he certainly has a baseball pedigree. Grounded to Tulowitzki. One away. Here's Brian McCann. Brian's 1 for 3. Shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. And a strike. Now 0-2 on Brian McCann.
Well, when you throw 95 miles an hour, you're going to get some swings like this on an 84-mile-an-hour slider. Sharp, breaking pitch.
Chop toward first, smoke to Osuna. And the Yankees are down to their final out here in the ninth. And here's Carlos Beltran. Carlos is 1 for 3. Picked up an RBI and a ground out. Yankees took the first game. Blue Jays won last night. They're up 4-2, 2 outs in the ninth tonight. The 0-1. 1-1. Strowman looking for his second win of the year with help from Osuna. Fly ball, left center. Saunders there, puts it away, and the Blue Jays win this one 4-2. Well, the Blue Jay offense consisted of 2 home runs. A 3-run shot by Donaldson, a solo shot by Tulowitzki, and that was enough as the Yankees couldn't get much done against Strowman and nothing against Osuna. So the Blue Jays take 2 of 3 here north of the border. So they win 4-2. We'll have so much more to come from Rogers Center, but first we throw it back to the studio where they'll set the table for the rest of the night.